Welcome to Gene and Mike do the New York Times crossword. Gene is still off tonight, so I am still doing solo duty for Wednesday, September 10th, 2025. This was a Wednesday crossword, so as the week progresses, of course, the crosswords on average get more difficult, and I found this one to be a lot of fun and also a little bit on the difficult side. There were a few clues there that I simply was not quite ready for. One across, the spiritual principle symbolized by an endless knot was karma, and I did not know that. I do now. 6 across was lovely, rock for one. And, I started thinking about music. I started thinking about things in geology. Turns out the answer was comic. That rock. And 6 down was have a cow, ? And the answer was calve. That was very funny. We may have seen that before, but it's still a great line. The one next to it, I had no idea. 7 down, willow, whose twigs are used in basketry. I have no doubt that Gene would have grabbed this immediately, but it was OSIER. At least I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly there. And we had what turned out to be the last clue and answer for me, 9 down, suffix was sulf. And I went for sulfite, that sounded right. But 15 across was carny blank, and that was not asata, but asada, meaning it was sulfide, not sulfite. So a bit of chemistry and Spanish in one Natick for me, at least temporarily. A few other clues of note. We had 11 down. That was when a star is first seen. So I thought dusk. That didn't work because it was 5 letters long. Dawn. That was still 4 letters long. Turned out the answer was debut. That kind of star. So that was sort of clever. And then we had knockover, 12 down, was amaze. So lots of good clues here. Definitely a little bit on the deceiving side. Perfectly fine for a Wednesday, I think. 10 down was mesh for securing items in transport. That was cargo net. That did not come to mind readily. And it interestingly crossed 21 across, some dressing in an operating room, gauze. I suppose you could, maybe you can't secure items for transport in gauze, but sort of felt vaguely the same meshy sort of material both across and down there. 28 across, glass in a frame was pain. It was a bit of a pain to figure out, to be perfectly honest. And then we had a sporting area. We had 24 down, certain volleyball hit was a spike. And then we had 30 across, certain tennis shot was a slice. I guess I maybe knew about spike. I definitely thought that slice was something you did in golf. Maybe apparently you also do it in tennis. I guess before I go too much further, I should get to the theme, which of course Gene could explain much better than I, but I will give it a shot here. There were 5 clues written in italics, which definitely helped, in which the answer turned out to be the plural of a word followed by the singular of a word to make an interesting answer. For example, 17 across, skimpy serving of foie gras was liver's sliver. Because you had livers and then liver, but that became liver sliver. So that S had to sort of slip over to the other word. 23 across, one of Daniel Radcliffe's paparazzi Potter spotter. These are so much fun to say. 35 across, Heinz bottle blueprint ketchup sketchup. Brilliant. And 45 across, the biggest and most loving of hugs was mother smother. And finally, the amusing, just as amusing as the others, which I hope you found amusing, 53 across, Idahoan tater stater. I could say tater stater all day and probably will. We had 43 across, that was with skepticism, scant. I like that. And then 43 down, referring to a show that I'd never seen. Many characters in Better Call Saul, and it was ATTS, attorneys. I'm presuming that's attorneys. And 44 down, flew past. Took me a bit for this. I had to get it through the crosses, was shot by. So, a good crossword here. It was a debut for 2 people, Vandenberg and Hadith Ragunathan. And so, well done, gentlemen. That is it for today. Thanks everyone for listening. We'll be back again with our cutting-edge analysis of tomorrow's crossword tomorrow.